All right, welcome to the December 7th, 2022 Finance Committee meeting. Call the meeting to order. 2, 3, 4, 5,
You need a big hammer.
6.
Or Chuck. Chuck could holler for you.
That's okay.
Call the meeting to order.
We have 6 members present. We have a quorum. We can conduct business. So we have approval of the meeting minutes for November 2nd. May I have a motion? We have a motion by Member Rogal, a second by Member Mendoza. Do you want Mendoza, Roseman Mendoza, or just Mendoza? Okay, I will try to do both for you. Thank you. If I mess up, please correct me, all right? Do we have, all right, so we have does anybody have any additions or corrections to those minutes? Seeing none, all in favor of accepting those meeting minutes, say aye. Opposed? Very good, the motion passes. Appearances of members of the public or county employees, do we have any?
Chair Metzger, we do not.
Very good, thank you. We're moving on to departmental matters, and we have 4A, and that's Tim Jorsak, who is our supervisor of assessment. He has nothing, so his presence is not needed today. We'll move on to 4B, and that is Michelle Anderson, our county auditor. Also, she has no items for actions or any presentation of information, so her attendance is not necessary. We're going to move on to 4C, 1A. Becky McNeil, and that's accept and place on file the county treasurer's monthly financial reports. And may I have a motion for that? We have a motion by Vice Chair Lehman and a second by Member Friedrich. And welcome. We did get your report, and we'll just let you, the floor is yours, ma'am.
I'm going to run through this report really quickly, and we have 2 members. Welcome. I'm Rebecca McNeil, the County Treasurer. If you have any questions, please contact me in the office. I'm more than happy to meet with you, talk with you. My extension is 5180, so just reach out, and I will certainly take the time to go over in detail what you're seeing tonight. The first report that you have is the summary of tax revenue. These are significant sources of revenue to McLean County government, often economic indicators in the community. The countywide sales tax, local use, cannabis, income tax, PPRT. For the month of November was a little over 1 million compared to 859,000 a year ago, so we were up by 143,000. Our year-to-date revenue, $16,489,000 compared to $12,186,000. A surplus over last year of $4,303,000. And comparing budget, right now we are year-to-date again $16,489,237. The county only budgeted $12,112,000 for 2022. To the new members on this committee, this is a very, very rare situation. The county is normally not ahead by $4 million. 2022 just had some unique changes to it with the taxes distributions coming out of Illinois Department of Revenue, plus the economy is picking up in 2022. So again, we have exceeded budget for the year by $4,376,000, and we still have the month of December yet to record. And then we'll do some accrual adjustments during the beginning of the year. So the next section is the shared sales tax revenue. The overall $426,000 for the month of November, that compared to $404,000 a year ago. The total revenue between Normal and Bloomington is $4,470,000, and the fund equity in the shared sales tax fund is $14,515,000. Property tax revenue, the final property tax distribution was issued to the county during the month of November, and the county levied a total of $38.2 million for tax year 21, payable 2022, and the county received $38,086,000. So 99.6%, and this is final. No further distributions will be made. This is common, very, very common, because there's always going to be corrections once the tax bills go out, exemptions that taxpayers qualify for, but they don't apply for them until after all of the extension process is done. So this happens every year. Motor fuel tax, county motor fuel, total of $176,000 for the month of October, or excuse me, November, October receipts. Renewal, $133,000. Township, $149,539, and then renewal, $113,000. We've just been capturing that renewal just to keep an eye on it and look at it, see what extra funds that we are getting right now because of that additional tax. Total county motor fuel, $3,364,000, and total township motor fuel, $2,840,000. Moving on to the next report. The monthly investment report, rates are still doing exceptionally well, obviously because of the Fed's action. The money market rates are Illinois Funds 3.72. I mean, we were able to capture close to $120,000 in interest just last month. And if I were to compare that to a year ago, it was less than $10,000 a year ago. So, I mean, we are truly benefiting right now from these rate increases. Have some long-term investments. I didn't do very much during the month of November. Because there was some movement from the Fed. We're just kind of waiting to see what's going to happen. We're going to do a little bit here during the month of December and continue to ladder out our investments. So overall, across all funds, $128,371,000. Again, please contact me if you have any questions. The next report that you have is on the McLean County Nursing Home. The McLean County Nursing Home, they are technically, every month when I come into finance, I'll report for them 1 month behind the county because of the way in which they close out for the month. And this is just a very, very brief snapshot of the nursing home fund that they operate out of. The county auditor does a quarterly report that is much more in depth. But this report will capture some of the more key important areas that we are watching. The first category there are the major sources of revenue being Medicaid, private pay, and Medicare. For the month of October, you can see those totaled $789,000. When you look across the bar there, you can see that that's the second highest month recorded here in 2022. The revenues and expenses and transfers. This is a month-to-date comparison. A monthly report on their revenue and the expenses. For the month of October, they had $967,000 in overall revenue, $844,000 in overall expenses, with a surplus of $123,000. Year-to-date accumulated revenue through the month of October, the nursing home, $7,525,000 in revenue. Expenses, $6,711,000. I can tell you for a fact that there's a couple $100,000 the nursing home has gotten in COVID relief grant money. It's in this revenue number, but depending on whether or not they spend it, we may be deferring part of it to 2023. So, but Mr. Wiley and I will make that determination at the end of the year. I'm pretty confident we're going to be deferring part of it. It's just I don't know yet what that's going to be. The payor receivable balance, we started off the year with $3,546,000. The receivable balance at the end of October is $4,114,000. So, and I think that as the nursing home continues to see more activity, it's natural for them to be carrying in higher AR, but they obviously need to continue to work on collecting that AR.
I would like to make one comment, just, and I think you're familiar with it, but because we just had a health committee meeting, and we did approve to have I don't know, vendor would be the right term, but an individual that will go and look at all that outstanding and go and
Yes.
obtain as much as we can get. But they mostly focus, from what I recall, on the federal Medicare or Medicaid, as well as the state.
Yes.
So that, we're hopeful that we'll see an improvement there. But that we have seen significant improvement over the past year, but just so everybody knows that they have that on the radar. The staffing doesn't allow them to really spend a lot of time, and this organization, that's what they specialize in. And they get 10%, depending, 10 or 20% of what they bring in, from what I recall, based on how old the expenses are.
Right.
So
Yeah.
just wanted to give.
Yeah, Mr. Wiley, he keeps in touch with me, and we talk, frequently. This is one of the things that he talked to me about, and it truly does come down to the fact that, I mean, the staff, they are keeping up with the day-to-day. They have had difficulty going back on those old accounts, and they don't have the expertise. And so I know the gentleman that they're working with does have the expertise, as well as the billing adjustments. So, yeah. He is a breath of fresh air, and I am so happy to work with him because I have conversations with him that I have not had since Mr. Lee and Mr. Rio left. And I think that he truly does get it, and he's truly working very hard. So I'm very hopeful. The cash at the end of October in the operating account, $253,000, $47,000 in the resident trust account. I can't count that. I put it on this report because it's part of the fund, but I can't really. It's not something that we can utilize for their operations. But anyway, cash at the end of October, total accumulated $300,382, down $166,000 compared to the beginning of the year. Fund equity, $4,366,418, up $814,185. Again, I told you earlier, there's a couple $100,000 in grants they've gotten. If they do not spend those, then we'll defer that forward, and that will reduce this fund equity. Besides that, here we are at the end of the year, and there's a lot of transfers and year-end entries that are going to happen. The members on this committee that have been here for a while, they understand that. And we'll talk about that as we move into January, February, and March. Keep you updated on how things end up. The next report is the Blue Cross Blue Shield cost summary report. This is the county's health insurance provider. The county is self-funded. So on a monthly basis, we present this. The total expenditures for 2022 through November, $6,054,000, compared to $5,663,000. So we are currently up $391,000, but we just had some large claims during the month of September. You can see the month of September really stood out, and that caused us to go into a different direction there. So, and then the final report is the property tax abatement summary. I always present this during the month of December because that's when everything finalizes on my end as county collector. The county as a whole has currently 5 active abatements. And I'm not going to go into the details of this, but those abatement agreements were signed on by Not every taxing body for each of these parcels, but the majority of them, the county was obviously a participant on the abatement. The abatements, there were specific benchmarks that these companies had to meet in order to qualify for the abatement. But for tax year 21 payable 2022, you can see the amount that the total abatement by all districts that are a part of the agreement, and then the portion that is related to McLean County government. And I won't go into detail on all of them. You can look through it. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me and come and visit me so I can talk with you about what the office currently does and the direction we're going in the future. More than happy to sit down with you.
Okay, we'll need to vote on accepting and placing on file the treasurer's report. All in favor of accepting this report, say aye. Opposed? Very good, that motion passes. Our next item is for D, and we have Kathy Michael, our county clerk. She has no items. She has her reports, and this packet is, the remainder of this packet really would be the reports from Kathy's office, as well as from Marshall Thompson, and that's animal control. So, Ms. Michael, please, the floor is yours.
Hello, I'm just here to answer any questions about the office without going into great detail because everything's on the website for you new folks. And also, as the treasurer mentioned, our door is always open for you. So if you ever need to come in and talk and ask specific questions, we're happy to do that anytime we can. So that's about all I've got for you.
Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Michael? I will say our elected officials are very, very good at whenever you call, either taking that call or calling you back and really providing you answers to those questions. And the best thing to do is to reach out to those individuals specifically, as opposed to trying to figure it out. So save a lot of time.
And I would add too, for everyone, but especially for you new folks, as you're talking to your constituents, if you hear of things that they might like to see on our website or things that we might want to add, I can't promise that we will, but we like to hear that to see how we can enhance the information on there as well. So thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Michael. Marshall Thompson, our animal control program, she's a director, and she doesn't have any items. Her reports are in the packet, and again, she provides us year-to-date, monthly, and so you don't have any action items, but if you have anything you want to share?
I would just like to say welcome to new members, and I'm available anytime if you'd like to call. My extension's 5059. And also, we were invited to attend the Wishbone Canine Rescue Low-Income Vaccination Clinic on Saturday. It went really well. Serviced a lot of constituents and people who are in need of getting vaccinations, and had a lot of fun doing that and looking for more in the future. And that's all that I have for today.
Any questions? Okay, seeing none. We're going to, thank you so much. I will tell you too, if you ever want to go visit, she has a great staff and a heartwarming place to go visit. So thank you very much for all you do. We're moving on to 4F, Cassie Taylor. And we don't have any action items, but we do have a closed session. But prior to the closed session, I would prefer to pay bills. So I'd like to move to kind of skip over that F2B to go to 5, and that's recommended bill payments and transfers. And I have a memo from our auditor, so this is what she does for us. Even if she's not here to visit us with an action item, she goes through every bill and makes sure that they comply with the McLean County Board adopted ordinances, resolutions, policies. that have been made available to her in the county code, and she says that these bills have been approved for payment. So we have a total of $984,352.15. May I have, I guess I need to get this on, I need to take a motion to accept those bills. Member Rogal to accept the bills, and Member Erickson is giving us a second. Very good, thank you very much. We got to get everybody in here. Does anybody have any questions? The bills, I believe we send those, do we send those out? Or they are available if you would like to see them. But rest assured, Ms. Anderson is very detailed, and I'm confident that they are in fine shape. So seeing no questions, all in favor of paying those bills, say aye. Opposed? Very good. Motion passes, so bills are paid. And that means that we now will go into closed session. And the closed session is pursuant to, and everyone will be leaving the room, so except us. And closed session pursuant 5 ILCS 102-2. C11, pending litigation. Litigation when an action against, affecting, or on behalf of a particular public body has been filed and is pending before the court or administrative tribunal, and when the public body finds that an action is probable or imminent, in which case the basis for the findings shall be recorded and entered into the meetings of a closed meeting. May I have a motion to go into closed session? We have a motion by Member Rossman and a second by Vice Chair Lehman. No microphones, and Julie will get us set up, and Mr. Spanos will provide us, this is